number 18.
All right, so my number 18 is Nidavelir.
Feels like this is deja vu, but I will say that it's not on my list.
Because he doesn't win. All right, so Nidavelir is a really, I think it's a very intriguing game. I've not played a game quite like it before. It is a point, you win on points, which again, like I've mentioned before in this countdown, point games are not necessarily going to be my favorite. I like games that are at least points in and of themselves. I like games that mix it up, so you gain points through a number of different things. So this one's a little more, I think, straightforward in the point gaining system, but basically it has a betting component, and you're betting to gain some heroes in order to win a battle. So the
word you're looking for is bidding.
Is that what you said?
You said betting.
Bidding.
Bidding?
Bidding. So this game, the artwork is beautiful. I love the artwork. I think it's really cool. That's one of the reasons why I was very drawn to this game in the first place. So yeah, Nidavelir. I think it's a very intriguing game. It goes pretty quick. It's pretty fun. It's easy to teach other people how to play it. So Nidavelir.
And it is straight up a crime that this is, for some reason, above Res Arcana in your list. Okay. My number 18 is a game that after I listened to you, it's been on your list, talk about it, I thought maybe I put it too high. And that's Isle of Cats. Which is, it really struck me as so fun. And plus my cat jumped right in the box. I mean, immediately. You know, laying the polynomial tiles out, and then, yeah, it's just cute. Great art, great fun, easy to teach other people. But in the end, not my style of game.
Yeah.
Right? But it's pretty cool. You get, you know, the theme, you go and you got to capture the cats, you got to put them on the ship and lay them in the tile. But in the end, it really is about, it is a type of game where all that's aside, what you're doing is you're getting cards and you're getting points. Then you're just pointing it out.
Yeah.
So number 18, had I redone this list right now, it would drop. But it's Isle of Cats.
All right. My 17 was on your list already. So my 17 is Marvel United X-Men. This game I think is incredibly fun. It's one of those games, again, I think it's easy to play, it's easy to learn, it's fun. It so far makes no difference if you're playing it with 2 people or more people. The way that you lay down cards and that you can actually benefit off of someone's cards laid down before you, and string everything together, including how the villain performs in the game. It's a very, very fun game. And, you know, there have been times, I think we've died. I think we've not made it. So to me, you know, that speaks to it. It can come down to a razor thin edge there, and there are sometimes we just don't think we're gonna make it, but we squeak it out. We've squeaked it out more times than not. So it is a really fun game. Each villain has their own particular powers that make them very interesting, and obviously with your players, you play one of the X-Men, and each one of the X-Men has certain cards in their deck that amplify certain abilities over others. So those are really fun to play with as well, and they work well in combination with each other. So X-Men Marvel, X-Men United.
It's got such a base set, but the monsters or the villains have just a little bit of a twist to them that makes them feel like Juggernaut or makes them feel like Magneto.
Yeah.
And then you're the good guys, and you got this power that makes you feel a little bit like Cyclops or a little bit like, you know, Professor X. That it really works. Okay, my number 17 is an ancient game. Ancient game. It's not going to be on your list, probably never ever going to be on your list, but they put an expansion out this year that kind of melded two worlds that went really well, and so I got to play some of it, and I intend to play more, and it is Magic: The Gathering. One of the great games ever made, and I'll go years lately without playing it, but this year they did a Forgotten Realms expansion. So they took the Dungeons and Dragons world and they melded it with Magic: The Gathering. It was just so much fun to play. And in fact, I got a box of it sitting right outside the thing, which is ready for my game day on Wednesday coming up. Doing some drafts with people. I just love this game. It's one of the old classics, and it's right here. I tried to figure out, you know, where would this rank this year? But it was such a good experience, even though I only had one night of it, that it ranked already at 17. And so,
Cool.
So really great game. Particularly saying that it's the Forgotten Realms expansion this year. My number 17, Magic: The Gathering Forgotten Realms expansion. Okay, number 16. Jenny, what do you got for number 16?
All right, number 16. I have, this has already been on your list. It's up there. Ruination.
Ruination.
Like Jason mentioned earlier in the countdown, what really drew me to this game in the first place was the artwork. It's apocalyptic, and it's, you know, the artwork is just phenomenal. It's got these kind of neon, really bright, not quite neon, but really bright colors in the artwork. It's very apocalyptic. There's some really cool characters in the game. The board is gorgeous. It's the theme really, they pull off the theme really nicely throughout the whole game, because you're kind of trying to gather resources, but they're very apocalyptic resources. You know, it's not just, oh, a berry and a twig. It's like, it's you know, you're really scrounging to try and survive while you're also figuring out ways to add to, you know, your clan and become more powerful. It's got really cool ways of doing things. I can't remember the main actions that you can take, but
there's 3 cards at the top, and
yeah,
you take one, and then you run up, you get glory or fame, I think, one of those two.
That's right,
on the track, and that helps you. So basically it's a dudes on the map game, I think we said. It's a war game, and so it's kind of set in a Mad Max world. It's not the race of Mad Max where you're on a caravan going out into the desert. It's more like you're the warlords and you're trying to defeat your enemy.
Yeah, and it has a lot of different cards, a lot of different ways, again, that you can figure out ways to maneuver and win the game. So Ruination is just a super fun game. With continued play, I could see this moving up in my list. So Ruination.
And it's kind of a small under the radar game, so it's not really big and popular. It's not one of the huge Kickstarters. It was a small Kickstarter, and we just heard about it around the out. So it's kind of cool to have a game to support a company that kind of created their own vision and did a smaller game that's not so huge.
Yeah, and it's a smart game. It's a really smart game. It's a really cool game. They did some unique stuff in it, so I highly recommend it.
Okay, my number 16 is a game that I've mentioned once, actually, but I didn't mention it I didn't say where I mentioned it, and it is a game. I'm going to preface this by saying it's sitting on my kitchen table right now. We just learned it yesterday. It had come in as a Kickstarter a while ago. We played twice. We're going to play another one today before we do a review of it, and it is Ankh.
It's just like,
Just got very silent over there. No expression.
I'm listening.
Oh, so so already at 16 for me is Ankh. I really enjoy. First of all, I said the best miniatures I'd ever seen before were Rising Sun. This might be better. Just fantastic. So many great things about this game. I could talk a long time. We're going to do a review of it, but theme, play. It's a dudes on the map game with all these different mechanics. Really feels like Egypt. We've played once. I won a close one, and then she just stomped the hell out of me in the next one. Lots of different gods, lots of different flavors. I just enjoyed this. Based on those two plays, it's already number 16 on my list. That's pretty remarkable. So, Ankh, Gods of Egypt, my number 16. Number 15.
Number 15. You're going to disagree with me on this one. My number 15 is Dwellings of Eldervale.
We're going to push pause here. Okay. How do you say that?
All right. No. So, okay. Dwellings of Eldervale is it's an amazing game. I love Dwellings of Eldervale. I love the monsters. I love that our monsters make noise.
You do like that.
It is a very smart game. It's a complex game. It's one of those games you really have to sit down and take a lot of time in order to learn it. There's a lot going on in this game. It's really beautiful. It's really cool the way that it flows. I think one of the reasons why it's lower on my list is, number one, incredible 2 to 3 player game. You add more people to this game, it takes forever.
Yeah,
so
it does not work at 4 and 5. I mean, it works
It works,
mechanically,
but that's if you're willing to sit down for an all-day event, which is not a bad thing because I like playing games with smaller groups of people anyway. It is a lot to set up. It is, and I think that's a piece to overcome.
It's a table hog.
It's a table hog.
Might very well be the number 1 table hog.
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces. There's a lot going on, but really cool game. The way that they delineated the different kind of clans that you can be and the different powers and how those powers work in the game, the monsters and how the monsters work in the game. Just the smart way that you can figure out how to gain cards or to whether or not you should pull your people back or leave them out on the map, or your different little meeples have different types of power depending on what kind of clan you are. So very smart, very intricate, very cool the way that it all weaves together. This is one that I've noticed you can have complete blowouts. It's not you can really get behind in this game, which is not a bad thing. If you're not playing well, you're not playing well. But it is a very cool game. I really like Dwellings of Eldervale. I think the reason why it's not higher on my list is it's a huge game. It's a big commitment to get it out, to get it set up, to get it to the table. So really that's my only complaint about the game. And I wouldn't want it any other way, because the way that they built this game and all the pieces and all the parts and the different boards and the monsters, I wouldn't want it any other way anyway. So there you go.
A fun piece to this game is that, and we've done this for each other, both. It's happened a couple times, which was I had to run to the store once and I said, hey, set up Dwellings of Eldervale. Kind of a smart ass remark as I was leaving. And I walked in and I was like, boom.
An hour later.
Yeah, an hour later. Like, it was just set up and I was like, whoa, sit down and play. And I did it once for you, right? I was like, she walked in and was like, game set up. She's like, well, let's play.
Yeah.
Like,
if you get to take the time and get it set up, the game is really fun. Really fun.
So it's really a gift, actually, to set it up for someone. Yeah. I can walk in and go, well, I'm ready to go. Okay. So that would be your number 15 was Dwellings of Eldervale. My number 15 is a game all new to the list. I mean, most of these are new, which is Atlantis Rising. It's an old game, I've learned, that was done ages ago, and then this, oh, in fact, it's right here, actually. Elf Creek Games, I love a lot of what Elf Creek Games does, and they remade it, and not only did they remake it beautifully, then we got the upgrade kit, because I'm in on the Kickstarter for the sequel to this called, I don't know what it's named, but it's next year. And if you did it, if you bought the Kickstarter, you could get this one in a split wave shipping, so it came early. And either by accident or upgrade, something happened, but they sent me a little upgrade kit so that all of the components are upgraded. And first of all, I want to say, if you buy this standard, the components are top notch.
Yeah, they're great.
And they're even better when
They're great components.
They're just great. So
either way.
Yeah, it's not one of those ones where you're playing with crappy cardboard chits and then you get the upgrade. This game is just amazing with the components, and the upgraded components are even that much better. Mm-hmm. So it's a big, fun, cooperative game. Atlantis is going down. You all got to work together, and you've got to get your resources before the island sinks. So as the island is sinking, you're getting less resources. You're putting all these puzzles together to open this extraplanar gate to another world to save Atlantis. And just the components are gorgeous. The gameplay is gorgeous. I've taught it to some people, and most people I've taught it to really liked it. You just get into the cooperative puzzle solving thing. It's one of those games where at the end everyone's leaning forward going, well, should we do this? We should do this. Should we do this? And then it becomes really cooperative in the mental space. Mm-hmm. So, in fact, I will tell you, I'm going to ruin something for you all right now. This game is on her list. I know it. But we just don't know where. For me, though, 100%, it is 15 on Atlantis Rising. Okay, on to number 14.
Number 14. Number 14 needs no introduction.
Everybody knows this game.
It is called Onitama.
That was funny.
No, Onitama is a phenomenal game. I love this game. It's I don't know that I ever would have just bought this game. Jason bought this game, and it's really cool. Not obviously if you've never played it. It's a two-person game. It's based, I guess, off of chess, kind of lightly off of chess.
Chess-ish game.
Chess-ish game. But it's very clever in that you have your pieces out on this little rolled out mat. Very simple game, very beautiful game in its simplicity. They have this really nice mat that you roll out your pieces on the mat. And then the game is based on, you can move your pieces based on a certain pattern that's sitting in front of you on a card. And then the cards rotate. So you can continue to move your pieces, but you can only move them as it's dictated on the cards.
So there's 5 cards. You have 2, your opponent has 2, and then there's 1 in the middle.
And you can see each other's cards.
So you know, but they rotate. So the card you use now, you know that your opponent's going to get. Mm-hmm. So it's a game of seeing what they can and can't do, what you can do. It's chess guided by those card movements.
Yeah. So obviously there's some objectives in the game in order to win the game, but it's simple, it's elegant, it's fun, it's really cool because you pass out the 5 cards to begin with and you're like, how is this game going to be sustained on these 5 cards? It absolutely is. It's very smart. You stay completely engaged the whole time. It's a mind bender. You're trying to figure out the best way to move so you don't give your opponent an advantage, just like in chess. So Onitama, simple, beautiful, elegant game.
Fantastic game. And a little background is that I watched some video and Tom Vassell recommended it highly. And so that's why I looked it up. It was $15 or something like that on Amazon. Picked it up. And just a different type of game for us. But
yeah, well, we've talked about a lot of games that are these big epic monsters and they can be hard to get to the table. Onitama, it's literally a little mat that you roll out and you put a few pieces on a board and pass out cards and go. So really great game.
Okay, my number 14, you might give me crap for this because it shot up to number 14 after one play. So this is probably unfair to rate it so high so quick, but the game has promise. I think it deserves this, and it will probably go up. And that is the Lost Ruins of Arnak. Played it 2 nights ago. It was a kind of a Christmas thing, and man, it was good. What a game. Just a fun game out of the West. She's being silent, so that tells you something. You got to watch the silence over here with this one. So it's this theme is Indiana Jones kind of thing. You're going out into the wilderness. I don't know how much that comes through. I mean, it does a little, but it's a kind of a card building worker placement together. We'll see that theme more. There's one more game on the list that has that theme, and so you purchase cards. It goes into your deck, and your deck allows you to do certain things, and it also has this worker placement, get components, and then travel deeper into the jungle. It's straight up goodness. Just really enjoyed this game. It did help that I had a couple of years of gaming and history under my belt in this genre, like of worker placement. I think it would be a little difficult if you just took grandma and said, you know Monopoly, let's play Lost Ruins of Arnak. I don't think she had any clue what the hell to do, but we did. We sat down and all three of us were like, oh, okay, we can kind of pick up what's going on. I mean, we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know the combinations, but we got the idea. Put your worker out, play your card that, to do what you want, to move your worker out there, get more resources, get more cards in your deck that will help you do more things. And it could be one of those games that I end up playing it 3 or 4 times, and it was so high, and Champions of Midgard is kind of in that zone, which I loved it so much, and then it just went down. So Lost Ruins might take that dive. I don't know. Right now, I think it's only going to go up. My number 14, Lost Ruins of Arnak. Moving on to number 13.
Number 13. All right. My number 13. Ooh. Ooh. You're going to disagree with this one, but my number 13 is Gloomhaven.
There's so many disagreements here.
All right, so
I understand why it's so low for you. I do.
Do tell. Why?
It could be your number 1 game if we played it all the time.
Yeah.
It is a fantastic game. It is just a campaign. If you've watched our previous video, I'm going to say the same thing we had then. We started it with our son, and we said in that video a year ago, we need to jettison him and just go on as a 2-player cooperative. We didn't. We should still do that, and because he only, he's got his own life. He's 25 years old. He visits to play games once in a while. But this is a game that we should sit and just play.
Yep. Yeah, Gloomhaven's a fantastic game. I'm very attached to my character. I do not want to give him up.
That's the mechanic in the game, is that once you hit a certain level, you trade your character in for another one. And she's like, whoa, why would I ever do that?
I'm the brute.
Yeah.
Just a very cool character. No, I love the campaign. It's again a very smart, very smart game, very big game. The way that they set it up is really cool. Again, we seem to win on a razor's edge, and sometimes we don't win at all. So it's very nicely balanced. The powers and the card combos are just very cool. the way that they did it so that you use, you know, half of one card and the other half of another card to combo and to do certain things is very smart. I mean, the way that they put together this game, just the intelligent world that it is and all the different options that you have. I mean, this is a true work of art, and they wove it together really nicely. It is another campaign style game, so it being lower on my list is probably more about me and less about the game, simply because campaign style games, they can get hard. They are hard to get back to, and picking them up again can be a little difficult just to refresh your memory. And none of that is on the game. That's all completely on me as a player. So it is one of those games that if we just left it out and we were able to just gain some traction, I think this thing would probably be close to, if not number one on my list. The Gloomhaven world is just phenomenal, and the way that they did it is really cool. It's a massive investment. When you talk about, and I don't mean money investment, I mean like time investment. But when you also talk about games that are a lot to get to the table and to get set up, Gloomhaven is the king of kings, I think, in that
Right
regard.
up there with Dwellings of Eldervale.
I think Dwellings of Eldervale is a lot easier to get than Gloomhaven.
You're probably right. Yeah, and this is a game where if I want to play with her in this game, I just set the game up. And so she walks up, she's like, "Oh, you've set the whole thing up. Okay, I'll play."
Yeah.
But boy, if you just sit there and you're like, should we open Gloomhaven? You're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, this is
epic game. Really love Gloomhaven. And again, if just we had more traction in regards to playing it, I think it would go much higher on my list.
Okay. So, my number 13 is one that's been on your list already, and it's, hold on a sec. Okay, yeah, it was on your list, not mine. I was like, did I put this on twice? This just seemed familiar. It's Sleeping Gods. A game by Ryan Lockett. Beautiful artwork, beautiful story. It just has so much promise. There's a number of characters that you play, whether it's a solo or if it's two players. That's the one weakness to the game. I don't want to control 7, 8, 9 characters. It's ridiculous. I think you should have simplified that system, Ryan. But the game, it's just a big open sandbox. And it also, if it's set up, you'll see this. You'll see this over and over. Same situation you had with Gloomhaven, which is that this is just a beautiful world, beautiful mechanics, beautiful exploration, and I don't bring it to the table very often. So my number, say that again, 13 is Sleeping Gods.